Uh, I'm so glad to see every one of you again. After some years, I think so. And I also see some new friends. So I would like to welcome you, each and every one, for tonight's discussion on spiritual practice. The topic of discussion is on, I think everyone has the book text. It's called the three principles, the three principal aspects of the path, composed by Geshe. Okay. So during my absence for some years, Zobala and Kat has been, teaching you Lamrim, and I've been receiving wonderful feedbacks that how much many of our students have benefited from their teachings and discussions with you. And then also Linda has been really leading our Tonglen meditation for so many years. And this has, sometimes I think some people come, sometimes few people, sometimes more people. But anyway, we have been doing this Tonglen meditation for so many years. Thanks, Linda, for having patience and leading this really beautiful meditational practice to heal yourself, to heal others. It's such a beautiful practice, and doing this for so many years. So many people have benefited this in one way or other, especially when we have Tonglen in our prayer requests. It's it goes to so many people, and everyone really have things about someone who needs help, mentally, emotionally, and someone in hospital, and someone who has just passed away, like that. So there's a kind of energy vibration that really gets to the needy people who have requested the prayers from our Sangha community. So which is really a wonderful practice. And then, of course, Bob, as usual, we always have this, when there's technical thing, it's the Bob and Holly, his whole family sometimes come together, they set up all these things. And we're arranging my stay and everything, Thanks so much. And thanks to you, everyone, even after so many years, I feel some years, but now we meet again, and to have a wonderful time and discussion like this, I feel really fortunate to have met you all in my spiritual path, I really cherish this, long time friendship. Some of you I have met now many years, some of you have grown, your hairs have, gray and more wrinkles, maybe. My is also, here's bald, here somewhere, and more gray hairs. And then I've been going through some health issues. And then my eyes is also not good. So, old age, old age. You have to accept old age, right? So like that, yeah. And even then, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we have been, living together. Although physically we are somewhere else, but mentally we are all, attached to each other as a Sangha community, which is really, I really cherish this really so much in my heart, yeah. So when we talk about practice, because this teaching is all about practice. So in Tibetan, the word practice, in Tibetan we say it nyamlen, say nyamlen, nyamlen. Nyamlen has two words, right? Nyam and len. Nyamlen actually means not letting someone to practice for you. Practicing yourself, Okay, right? You got it, right? So, okay, it's wonderful. We go to the temple and, make offerings and please the Buddha, by burning incense and like that, and also call the Sangha to do some pujas for you. These are wonderful practice. This is good, right? But actually, Nyam means it's about you. You got to practice. You got to practice. So now, Nyam Su Lenpa. Nyamlen is short word, but then when it show Nyamlen is abbreviated, but when we make it more loose, there's Nyam Su Lenpa. 4 words are there, right? So what Nyam Su Lenpa means practice. So then what to practice, right? What to practice. So there's so many types of practice, right? So there's, in other words, there's practice in, basketball field. There's practice in volleyball field, practice in cricket, and practice in baseball, right? Like that, right? All kinds of sports you need practice. And then all kinds of, in science lab, you need practice. You need to practice. So then, in kitchen, you need to practice because you have all kinds of cookbooks, right? Cookbooks. Cookbooks are for what? Practicing something and making yourself proficient with that thing. And then after you become proficient, you don't need any practice. You said, I have proficiency, I'm good, I can teach someone, right? Or someone like that, right? So practice goes through some kind of process. Whether it be mundane thing or whether it be spiritual one. So when we talk about practice in our spiritual, this kind of discussion, now it's about spiritual practice, right? Spiritual practice. So now, spirituality, it's a very loose word, very loose word, very interesting word too, very interesting word. Yeah. What do you actually mean by spirituality in actual, in English language? What actually means? I don't know, really. Why spirituality is very much used now. Yeah, I'm a spiritual person, right? Something like that. I think it has something to do with your inner being, inner quality. Something, I'm not sure, spirituality. Spirituality. He's a very spiritual person, right? And sometimes he say, he's a good person, but he's not spiritual, right? I don't know what really actually means. We have to look into the Webster's dictionary, right? Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Now, these days you can Google, right? Many meanings will come out from with spirituality, yeah, right? So, anyway, have you found something spirituality? Yeah, spirituality, yeah, anyway. So now, in Buddhism, when we talk about Nyamlen, Nyamsu Lempa, we say Che Nyamsu Lempa. Che is a word, Tibetan word for Dharma. Okay, Dharma. Che Nyamsu Lempa. Che Nyamsu Lempa. Che Nyamsu Lempa. Nyamlen Chige. Che Chige. So that means I'm practicing Dharma. I'm practicing Dharma like that. I'm practicing Dharma. So now, what is Dharma again? Right? Change language, you know? You are practicing Dharma. What is actually Dharma? Dharma has many connotations, you know, I have discussed with you before, you know. But one very powerful meaning, it's ch actually means when it's actually related with a verb. Ch is a noun word, okay? When it's related with a verb, it's ch. Ch. Tibetan, you know, sound it's a high pitch, low pitch, right? Ch and j, right? Ch and j. J is kind of high pitch, right? J. J actually means reform yourself. So ch has many meanings, but one really powerful meaning is ch. Ch means mending, you know, subject. That means subject means, for example, if your car is broken, right? What do? You go to the garage, right? And then you mend it, right? If the transmission is broken, we change the transmission. If the engine or you need the filter, right? You change it, right? So what are you doing? You're mending it, making it, you know, mending it, right? Repairing it, right? Right? So now, mending or transforming. What again, right? What to transform? What to mend? Transform our mind. We cannot transform our body, right? It'll get worse and worse later, right? There's no way to transform. Yeah, actually, yeah. Of course, do exercise, you will remain more fit for some time, right? Eventually, go down, right? There's no way, right? No way. Yes, there's no way, right? Just recently, before coming here, I was in Indiana, and myself and Geshe the principal of our college, were invited there to teach a 7 weeks meditation course to the alum college students. Yeah, very interestingly now, it seems now people are becoming more and more interested in looking inward now, more than before, I think so. So at the meditation was from 8 to 9. That's early, you know, for the kids, right, of this age, you know, and especially their exams were quite near, you know, because of the, you know, this summer break like that, right? But almost 40, 50 attended, you know, regularly without break, you know, from morning at 8 to 9. So very interesting, very, very interesting. There's some growing interest in meditational practice, some growing interest. I think there's some kind of movement in the States, at least in the States, some kind of movement going on. That's my feeling. So anyway, so what I'm going to say is that there's one student from Colombia, and we were living in the same dorm. And then every now and then we get to the door, and sometimes he opens door for me, sometimes I open door for him, you know, the main gate, right, like that. Then we became kind of friends, you know. He did not attend the meditation, but we became kind of friends, and then before I was about to leave, and he said, Geshe, I wanted to talk to you one day. I said, okay, sure, we can talk, no problem. And then in this way, time was passing. And one day again, I met him on the same gate, you know, and then he opened the door for me. Geshe, I said, I wanted to meet you when possible. So it was breakfast time, dinner time. Yeah, it was dinner time. Yeah. So then are you going to the dinner? Yeah, he says, yeah, okay, I'm going to. Oh, let's go and discuss at the dinner table, whatever you want to discuss, right? So we had dinner together. And interestingly, he's doing research on how to stop aging. Very interesting, how to stop aging. So very interesting, I said, and then he asked me what we think about aging in Tibetan Buddhism. I said that aging is part of our life, is the law of nature, that anything that is born is bound to decay and die. And he said, this can be changed. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Then he showed me, on his this iPhone, he showed me one species, looks like fish. He said, Geshe, look at this fish. When you can cut this fish into any number of pieces, but the organs will come back on each of these whatever cut into pieces. So hair or whatever. So this is very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. So then he said that he's doing something, kind of manipulation with a necklace, necklace of ourselves, right? And working to stop aging, very interesting, So he's after this, I think he has now already left to MIT, because he got some scholarship to do research on that thing, Very, very interesting, right? And then I said, if everybody lived forever, forever without, aging, and I said, this world is already filled with overpopulation, right? So more population, what are you going to do? The earth is limited, right? They're limited. The world is, the space is very limited. And not only that, what are you going to do with our food and all those things, so many things that we have to consider about these things. And then I also asked if it's aging, then it has to do with also, the conditionings of, sickness like that, right? And it's all the conditions. He said that theoretically, you can make someone without any sickness. So I'm not sure whether scientifically it's durable or not, but still he's thinking in this way. Right. Anyway, that's just for our gossip. Very interesting, yeah, I said, I'm very interested, So oh, really? Yeah. Very interesting, yeah. So myself, the Geshe, we wear, the maroon robes, right? Every time we have been wearing maroon robes, and so the campus, everyone knows us, wherever we go, because we are so significant, so conspicuous, yeah, like that, So, and many of them, I think, know that we are Buddhist monks, right? But many of them, I think, they don't know anything about Buddhist monks, their robes and like that. And then one boy came to see us and said that, I think you must not have any changes, robe changes, right? Because all the time red, right? So he said, I have extra, jeans and shirts, he can loan us, So it was such a wonderful stay there, very, very wonderful stay there, yeah.
Maybe you tell him we have rooms for you.
Wonderful stay there, yeah. Yeah, very kind, very kind, very, very kind, very kind, yeah. Yeah. Then one day I went to the gym, and then the gym teacher, he showed all those machines, right? He let me play all those, sometimes we're lifting, sometimes doing like this. Very, very enjoying. Yeah. We both had a wonderful time, fun and enjoying, and yeah, the kids, those who attended, most of them really attended regularly, and some of them were having test right after 9, but they attended, the classes, so seemed very much so much interest going on with the meditation, everywhere now. Yeah, that's right. So now, that is reforming, right? Reform, right? Or mending. So now, what to mend, right? If everything is okay, we don't need to mend anything, right? The new car doesn't need any mending, right? Or Bob and myself went to Tesla. Tesla, right? You know Tesla, right? Everyone, yes. It was fun, to be. Did I own the driving seat, right? Yeah. Very fun, lot of fun. So that car, it's perfect, right? Let's say perfect, whether perfect or not. But anyway, it's new, right? It doesn't need any mending, right? Right. So mending needs when it is not so good, right? When things are falling apart, or when our cars or our body, we need some mending, right? So then with mind, why we need mending? From the beginning of time, from so many lives, it's not so good, right? It's filled with a lot of junk, junk. It's almost like mixed with the compost, compost. All right. So get out from the compost, yeah, right. Yeah. So very interesting, right? Almost like compost. Our mind is mixed with compost, right. But interesting thing is that our mind has never been part of the compost. Am I making any sense? Right. The nature of mind, as I've been discussing you before, is clear, lucid, luminous. So that is why we can separate, no matter how our mind is polluted, how much our mind is, immersed in the dirtiest of compost, we can get out from that. We can, slowly come out clean, like, going in a swimming pool and having a shower, right? That's come out clean. We can come out clean. So now the dirt or the compost, we can say, are to be reformed, to be cleansed. And then the goodness that is already with the mind in nature will come about. So goodness, the good qualities which are within our mind are the positive qualities. Whereas the compost or the junk junkyard, right? You go to junkyard, so much just there, right? America makes biggest junk in the world, I think so, yeah. I think America is one of the biggest producers of the waste, I think, in the world. I think so. Looks like, yeah. So much waste, so much waste. I noticed at the college too, and when the college was about the clothes, everyone had to leave, right? And his directions, I noticed, the what you call resident assistants, they put directions what to do with. So there's a hallway where we stayed. In that hallway, I'm not just, exaggerating, hundreds and hundreds of clothes, used, and books, all were piled up there, But fortunately, there were some wonderful kids who were picking them up and then who were washing them up and then giving to Salvation Army and like that, That was very good thing what I noticed. Otherwise, kids, they just pull so many things. Many of them seem to be very new, even the textbooks. And there's one, I heard later on that there's one Chinese student, interesting. And he's collecting the books, textbooks, and he's selling to Amazon. And he said that he told one of our friends that he said that he told that he makes more money selling books than working in McDonald's. So that's how he's making money, by collecting the books and selling. It's a good thing, right? Selling, yeah. So, very interesting. So I learned so many things there. Yeah. So now, in order to really transform our mind, there's two things we need to keep in our mind. One is to reduce the negative thoughts, negative attitudes, such as hatred, anger, jealousy, attachment, and like that. And the other is to work on increasing the qualities, good qualities, which are within us in the latent form. We have a Tibetan word, This word is very interesting word. Bakchak. Say bakchak. So bakchak is it's translated as latency, or like sometimes translated as propensity. Sometimes almost translated as a nuba, means some kind of energy, some kind of energy like that. So it is said that whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we hear, in other words, anything what we do, some kind of bakchak lives on our mind stream. Interesting, right? Interestingly, right? For example, if you hear music today, and then depending on how much you have paid notice to that music, the latency is left. The thickness of latency is left. Next time, after maybe 10 years, if that latency is thickness is sufficient, thickness is sufficient, then when you get to re-listen it again, you'll get to, remember the thing, right? Am I making sense, right? So it's about, so for example, if you meet someone, a stranger on the street, sometimes when you pay this attention to that guy, and then after some time, what happens is you get to see him again, Oh, I met him, this guy. It's about retaining the information you got, right? So in science, it's about, retaining the information, right? We can use this term, right? Retaining the information. It's, in other words, the information is imprinted and retained wherever, maybe in the brain, whatever. So retain information, right? Retain. So in Buddhism, we talk about retaining the information in the mind stream, right? So, like that. So now we have left so many pakchaks, millions, tons and tons of pakchaks of positive pakcha and negative pakcha, okay? From past lives. So now what we need to see why we do this is negative pakchas, whenever they manifest, we run into difficulties. Whereas whenever positive pakcha, when it is manifested, we experience happiness, joy, peace. Same, it's about, it's nothing about Buddhism. It's nothing about spirituality, even. It's about our daily experience. Let us take the example of, say, anger. How it arises. Let us investigate. To who we get angry. How it arises. When it arises, what is my attitude, my physical well-being, my mental well-being, my emotional well-being, like that. It's not something. So, when Buddha talks about all these things, he's just speaking what's going on in us. He's not speaking something that is from the other planet, alien things, no aliens. Alien. He's not something talking about aliens' life, He's talking about our life, And when he's talking about our life, what he's talking about? He's talking about, hey, you want happiness. You need to learn how to cultivate happiness. You don't want suffering. You need to cultivate how to overcome methods. Cultivate methods how to overcome suffering. Right? So basically, it's about a basic life, basic human life. So that is how we need to. For example, we have been discussing that. Now we need to work on transforming Chögyur. In Tibet, when they talk about, transforming, long time back in 60s, it was about cultural revolution. They use this word Chögyur in cultural revolution, even, cultural revolution, right? Like that, right? So Chögyur here actually means transforming our mind. So cultivating positive qualities and overcoming negative attitudes or qualities, whatever. Right? Now, in cultivating positive attitude, first thing is that we need to work on overcoming, in other words, reducing the negative thoughts. So now, negative thoughts, it's negative thoughts or negative attitudes or negative emotions, these days the word emotion is also very much used, negative emotions. So negative, why we call negative? Why we call anger negative? Why we call attachment negative? Why we call jealousy negative? Arrogance negative? Why we call? It's the very moment when one of these overwhelms us, we're immediately disturbed. Well, our minds become blurred. Like sometimes my eye gets blurred these days, So blurred. So when your mind becomes cloudy, blurred, you will not see things properly. When you don't see things properly, there's more chances of making more mistakes than when you were able to see things properly. right? So now, and then when we make mistake, what happens? More mistakes comes next time. That's a vicious cycle. Almost like becoming alcoholic, right? Alcoholic person, when you go to, I have some friends, very good Tibetan friends, they are alcoholics, some of them, when they are sober, right? We say sober, right? When they are not drinking, they are as good as, even better than us, right? And then when they, what do you call, are drunk, they act so badly, very bad, So why they do that? At the intellectual level, when you ask them, if you ask them to write about the harmfulness of alcoholism, they can write so many pages, even more than us, because they have practiced, right? And they have become proficient with it. But then, when it comes to overcoming, steps are needed then, right? So that is why, same thing, we are in a almost like situation of simgyu nyamambar chepa. That is, our mind is clouded by these negative emotions. So now, since the basic human nature, our human nature is to overcome, to enjoy happiness, right? From the moment, when we wake up to go to, even in dream, we aspire happiness, right? So, to achieve happiness, there's no other alternative. Of course, physical happiness, we can go to cruise, right? Cruise, you can go for, all kinds of surfing. You can do, so many things. Some of you do so many crazy things, right? And then fall down, then crack, like that, right? So many things, you do. Some Americans do so many crazy things, right? So what they're doing, right? So when it comes to real happiness, it's really about mind. Really, there's nothing other than that. So now we need to cultivate methods to reduce these negative emotions. How to reduce? This is very important, For example, with anger, first thing we have to understand or accept, anger is a havoc, or any other negative emotions. It just ruins you, your life, your family, everything. We have been discussing about this when we discussed, the Shantidevas, chapter 6, about detail how much anger destroys our peace, how much it's bad things, right? So after it's like alcoholism too. Until and unless they take that it is not good, they are not going to drop it, they are not going to give it up. So first thing, we have to accept that this is something really bad, really very bad. Then, what we need to do is, in the beginning, if you say, I'm not going to get angry, this is not going to benefit, this is not going to help you, if you say, I'm not going to get angry, this is not going to help you. But you have to take steps. One wonderful step is that to avoid that person or that group, or that sometimes we get angry with something, some noise. I get angry at noise, right? So we are so crazy, right? So do so many ridiculous. So if you get angry with someone, the Abhidhamma Kosha says very clearly, you'll not never na. If you stay close to that person, then you meet him or her again and again, right? Chances to meeting him. So chances to getting more angry again and again, right? So you know never na means stop, getting close, stop going nearby that person, or seeing that person, right? Or that community like that. And then first that is physically, right? Yeah, when we get angry, right now we are not getting angry. But when we go out, if we see that person, bad boss, right? But boss is very difficult sometimes to avoid. We have to put up with it, right? Sometimes difficult, right? But then second level comes. That is mentally preparing. Okay, physically not trying to avoid as much as possible. Then mentally ignoring whatever disputes you have, whatever you had, all these things, Yeah, if it's almost like eruption. When it's about to erupt, you will notice, oh, this is coming. So you will drink cold water, not let the fire come out, from your mouth, right? And this way, slowly you have resolved. Same thing with other afflictive emotions. And then what comes is really actually working on the root, tracing the root of anger. Tracing the root of anger is, it's again so obvious to us. Buddha, of course, he spoke about this 2,500 years back, but it's obvious to us. It's about, self-centeredness, which is rooted to self-grasping. Any kind of, afflictive emotions, trace its root. It's rooted to selfishness, which is rooted to self-grasping. Like that. So then we work on cultivating the mind of the wisdom of reality that directly acts an antidote to our afflictive emotions. Right? So first we work on overcoming the manifest ones, really the gross ones, right? And then slowly you wipe it out, see the dirt, becoming lighter, and then slowly coming to a point where you see, oh, I'm getting to this self-centered attitude, which is rooted to self-grasping, right? Or if this is the case, what is the most powerful antidote and most effective antidote to actually burn this self-centeredness or self-grasping? Totally erase even the latencies or the propensity of the self-centeredness or the self-grasping, right? So that is about, cultivating wisdom of emptiness, which is actually the third aspects of the path of, three principles of the path, right? So in this way, while working on, uprooting, diminishing the negative thoughts, we also pay attention to cultivating positive thoughts. Because, anger, when we talk about anger, it's about loving kindness, right? Loving kindness, compassion, empathy, all these positive qualities are, very much kind of, in other words, we say in Tibetan, they bounce to each other, almost like accident, right? Like a bulldozer, accidenting with a small car, right? That's just crushed, So bulldozer is needed, eventually to, crush that, these negative thoughts, right? Bulldozer, right. So now bulldozer is what? It's about cultivating positive qualities from small, insignificant, say, compassion. It's there within us. Every one of us has compassion. But then, what makes us not feeling compassionate? It's about, it's related with so many things, There's so many, conditionings. One conditioning can be from, upbringing, how we are brought up in so many ways. Because if your parents don't show compassion to your kids, it's very difficult to see the benefit of compassion by the kids. And the environment, the social society, the civil society. So, in any case, what is really needed is that since we have now gone through all these, so we know, all of us know. So now what we need is, we know there is compassion in me. That we have to kindle it, We have to light it, kindle it. How to light it? It's cultivating something that I've been discussing about this, that I have the Buddha nature. I can do anything. I'm capable of doing anything. Why I'm so down to my low esteem like that, These are not going to work for any one of us, So you have to feel that the strength is within you. Am I making any sense, right? That strength has to be kindled. There's that the Alum College, they are Quakers, Quakers, right? Quakers, and then in their there's a fire place. It says that someone brought some sticks, and then someone kindled it and left it, left it burning. Very beautiful, very beautiful, So like that. So we have to kindle that strength by seeing the strength in you, strength in ourselves. That is the kindle. If you don't see strength in yourself, you will not be able to kindle that light. See the strength. Everyone has again strength, no matter how small it is. That everyone, we may lack somewhere else, but we are good in somewhere else. There's nobody who's lacking everything every time, all the time. Am I making any sense, right? So we have to understand these facts of our life, and then rekindle it. Eventually, compassionate will become stronger for yourself, for others, for everyone, eventually, right? That is how we know. When compassion becomes stronger, it is the seed, as I've been discussing last time, it's the seed of all the other wonderful qualities. The seed of the bodhicitta is compassion. If you don't have compassion, there's no way to have aspiration to achieve the Buddhahood. No way. Because achieving the Buddha is not something, I want to be Buddha and then I relax, right? No, it's not something like that. Then I sleep forever. Not right. It's about working for the benefit of other people, right? So, achieving the Buddha must have the seed of the compassion, empathy for others. I always think that how, for example, I've been discussing with you before too, for example, when we look at Mother Teresa, right? Physically, so she was just so thin, so fragile, and so unassuming, so humble, right? But then her mind was so strong that she was able to have so much impact throughout the world. When we talk about someone, a compassionate person, from my heart, I want to name her one of the first person in the world, Because I've seen myself, right, in pictures in Calcutta where she worked. Impossible if you don't have that inner strength, compassionate strength. Impossible. And she met with so many obstacles in the beginning. The Hindus, the fanatic Hindus were not happy with her because they were thinking that she was doing this to convert some people, right? But then she put up all these difficulties, challenges, worked tirelessly. She became now what is now known as the saint of the gutters. The saint of the gutters, The saint of the gutters. Just so, mind is very interesting, very strange. Very, very strange. Very strange, yeah. So that is why compassionate mind has to be seed in our spiritual life. Compassion. Be compassionate to yourself. Whenever you feel some kind of, what do you call, sadness, or some kind of, loneliness, or some kind, just think, I'm compassionate for myself, I'm compassionate to myself. Am I making any sense, right? So these are the things. That is why Buddha prays so much on compassion. So much on compassion, His Holiness always praises so much on compassion, right? Why we do? Because it's the very beginning. It's the very beginning of positive qualities. The seed of positive quality is this, nothing other than compassionate attitude. The seed is there. We have this one. The moment we are born, we have this one. I should have told the Colombia friend how he can increase the compassion, right? Through manipulation of, Nicholas, Then maybe, something, right. So anyway, so that's how, and slowly, it's like working with two hands. On the one side, we overcome negative thoughts. On the other side, we cultivate positive thoughts. Once we feel compassionate to ourselves, once we are, hey, I'm there, right? So I'm there. Yes, I'm there, right? So in this way, I'm here and there, right? Yeah. So Ramdas, very interestingly, he said, I'm still here. He got sick, right, for so many years. He said, I'm still here. Very wonderful word, So you can say, I'm still here, right? Why? Because I'm compassionate to myself, right? These are the really, for myself too, sometimes I feel because last year there were so many health issues, then, nothing seemed to be working. I felt desperate, but then I meditated and it helped me, about my compassion and like that, So I also really meditated. It's about cleansing of my negatives, which really Zobala did, One time when Zoba had difficulties, with her health issues, we discussed and I said, yeah, it's about purification, right? Yeah. So really, Zobala took it seriously and she related me, right? It's help, So, yeah, because when you get sick and you go there, nothing happening and improving, going down, then you lose heart, right? So then it happened to me because last year was very difficult. So many ups and downs simply nothing. But then I was able to come out. I'm still here, right? to this end. Up to now. So it's about our life. It's about our life. So these are the things that we, basically, when we have these things in our mind, basically, okay, you meet with problems, because we are humans, emotions are there. Negative. If we are emotionless, then we are like rock, then not good at all, Emotion should be there. We should have emotion, Even the Buddha should have emotion. When someone asked me, does Buddha have emotion? I said, why not? Otherwise, he will be not compassionate, right? If no emotion, he will not be compassionate to us, right? Right. Compassionate is very interesting, very powerful practice. So in this way, the three principles of path, which we could not do today, we'll do next tomorrow from Wednesday, Thursday, right? Thursday. Yeah, today we'll stop. This I want to, I thought of sharing you, because we haven't met for a very long time. And I've been receiving emails from many of you that your practice is going very well, and you are doing practice daily and like that. So which is really encouraging me, and that we are. That means we, as a sangha, we have done something wonderful in our life together. Really something wonderful in our life together. So today again, so we'll stop here, okay? And on Thursday we'll have, I'll start discussion on it, okay? Yeah.
Your whole discussion at once on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.